Hello and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to do a box opening of a game I just got called Panzer, and this is by GMT Games, game designer James M. Day, and it's the game of small unit action and combined arms operation on the Eastern Front from 1943 to 1944. Now, one of the reasons that this game intrigued me so much when I got back into wargaming is that I used to play in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s. And one game that I did manage to hold on to for the whole time was Panzer Blitz. And you can see the striking similarities between the boxes here. So I really like this game. I have Panzer Blitz, Panzer Leader, and I had Arab-Israeli War and I had all the other ones that were associated with it, but I eventually got rid of all them, was able to keep this one. So this was one of my favorite games. I'm hoping this one will also be an enjoyable tank battle game. Now, this is the third printing, so by my logic, that means that it must be a pretty popular game if they have a third printing of it. So it comes in a 2-inch box. Whoa, something banged there. The box is kind of heavy. I was kind of amazed at how heavy it was. On the back, shows you some player cards here, shows you some tank cards here, and these are data cards on each tank, and tank-to-tank combat at a tactical level, which means one-on-one, and some of the counter units. It looks like we do have some small units here, some artillery, and some aircraft, so that's kind of cool. And of course we have the markers for the game markers. The game contents is 2 summary cards, 16 full-color tank data cards, which I'm assuming is that, 3 full-color counter sheets, 1 22 by 34-inch map with 1-inch hexes, so pretty large hexes, rulebook, playbook, 5 player aid cards, and 4 10-sided dice. The units are individual tanks, vehicles, towed guns, and aircraft, infantry squads, half squads, and sections. Each game turn can last anywhere from, or each game turn represents 15 seconds to 15 minutes. The map is 100 meters per square, or per hex, and age is 14 years. And again, James M. Day is the designer of this. When we come over to the game meter, complexity is 6, which is the higher end of medium, and solitaire suitability is a 6, which is again the higher end of the medium. So let's open this up and see what's inside. All right, so this is a nice heavy box, and again, I know that there's probably a ton of box openings of this particular game online, because it is the third printing. So we have the basic and advanced rules here in this rule book, and then we have a playbook. Then we have optional rules. Whoa. Then we get to the maps. So that seems, this rule book is a hefty rule book. Wow. So definitely not going to be like the Panzer Blitz game that I'm used to. So I'm not going to go through this whole book. We'll go through and see where the basic rules cover. So Introduction to Advanced Game, that's on page 22. So the basic rules cover page 21. And I would imagine that allows you to play a scenario. And then here we have the advanced rules, and they go to page 35 here. Let's see if they continue. Yes. And that goes all the way down to page 61 of the advanced rules. So if you want to get into the advanced game, you're talking some heavy-duty rules here. Now, I don't know how easy they would follow, but we'll see as we go along. It must work out because this is the third printing. Introduction, components, which is always an important page to read. Sequence of play. Looks like terrains and terrain effect and line of sight maybe. Pages are sequence of play. The pages are pretty thick. It's all color. So that's nice. It's not on a glossy, it's sort of a matte finish, or yeah, I would say a matte finish. Basic game combat phase, firing sequence and rules, hit modifiers, basic game movement phase, adjustment phase, and then we come here to introduction to advanced game. So I'm not going to go through all the advanced game because that's going to take a little while. There's a lot of examples there, so that's good. So apparently maybe you can just add 1 or 2 examples at a time. I'm not sure, but that would be my way of thinking of learning all the advanced rules. Credits here, let's see. And we have a glossary, which that's always good to have, especially when you have a lot of abbreviations on things. And then our index is 4 pages of index and then a terrain key on the back. So that's the basic and advanced rules. And then we have the optional rules. And this is a 2021 edition. And again, online you can find the current edition, but this is 15 pages of optional rules. So I'm not sure if you could use these without learning the advanced rules first or not. I'll have to read into it. Should be thought of yeah, I'm not sure if you could just use them with the basic rules. That'd be kind of nice as optionals. But we have break off, it looks like here, broken units, hidden units, moving hidden units, counters, open and button up terrain, turrets, open and button turrets. Oh, looks like you can add turrets on top of your tanks for movement. Long guns, variable track damage, infantry smoke, indirect fire scatter. So a lot of different little option rules here that can be added to the game. So it looks like this game can be extremely complex or somewhat complex, then maybe relatively simple. Yeah, I look forward to trying this game out. We have leaders here, which, as I understand it, the leader counters are actually provided in the expansion, the 4th expansion, the French expansion. So I'm gonna have to get that one if I want to use leaders as an optional rule. So that's our 24 pages of optional rules here. Then we move on to the playbook. So again, this is sort of a daunting looking thing, but I watched other videos and they said that, you know, you can take it pieces to learn it. So that's what I'm hoping for. So we have TO and E here, and then we have the scenarios start on page 5. So all of this is just basically setup, helping you out with designing scenarios, initial setup, counterattacks, point value units. And then here, this is outlining, it looks like it's outlining for the scenarios on page 9. And then we start into our scenarios here. And I believe we have 10 scenarios, and they start from, it looks like, you know, a rather small units here, not too many pieces. Moving on to a larger group, more units with different types of pieces. And then a little bit larger here, scenario 8, scenario 9. Yeah, so now we're getting into more units definitely on the side here. And then here we have the German unit summary charts. And then we have the Soviet summary charts. And Panzer formation summary. So I would imagine you can probably copy those when you do use these things. And that's our playbook. So next we start getting into player aid cards. And there are a couple of them in here. The first one is this little fold out smaller piece one, which seems unusual. I wonder why they just didn't make it a full-size one like you see many of them are, but I'm sure there's a reason for it. Cards are identical. They're printed on two sides. So you have GP factor here, GP combat results, unit, grade modifiers, GP fire modifiers, building effects. Not sure when you use all of this, but I'm sure that it's used often because there's two player cards, so you must have to refer back to this. Terrain effect chart, I'm sure that you use that quite a while. Spotting range, spotting, AP hit modifier, armor piercing hit, armor piercing modifier. So yeah, there seems to be a lot of tables in this game. They use a lot of tables. So let's check out. And here's card C and D here. So the first two was card A and B there. So this is C and D. And we have combat effect summaries here. Sequence of play available to commanders, numeric cohesion points. So again, some more player aids that you're going to need throughout the game, I'm sure. I'm not sure how much you have to refer to them, but they're there if you need them. Then I have these, which are, these look like the cards that you use. Oh, here we go. This one's a little different. Yeah. So these two are the same, and they have the same thing on the back here, which is the identifier. And these are the cards that you use for each piece. That you know, your player aid cards there for each unit. And this one here looks like it's a transport and summary track. So maybe whatever you're transporting, you put on these squares. Hidden units would go here, and a marker would go on the game, I would think, to have your hidden units, so that way you know your opponent doesn't know what they are. Turn track, transport summary track, and hidden unit track, all in this one right here. So interesting. So that's that player aid card there, or I guess unit hidden card. And then this one here tells you how to read your player aid cards for each unit, for each tank, and also units and guns, which I think the guns were on the tow guns were on this one here. Okay, so let's look at our units themselves. Before we get into that, I'll just show you, you have 4 10-sided dice are included in the game. We have a red, black, and 2 white ones, so I'm sure they're color-coded for a reason. And right here we have counter 3 of 3, so this is looks like all marker counters. Looks like a turret that you can put on there. I think I saw that in the either advanced or option rules that you can use turret. And the back side of these. And again, I'm not sure what all these are. Suppression on, off. I'm not sure exactly how you would use all these, but I'm sure I will find out. These look like 5/8 size. Yeah, about 5/8. That's that. And this one here has some more fire, move, prep type stuff, it looks like. Move and fire. We have some unit pieces there. And the back side are some more. The back side, oh yeah, so they step down. Looks like they step down. Oh, and these are commands. So these must be the hidden commands that you use during the game. That's that. Then we have these here, which are, looks like 7/8. They're not quite 1 inch. But these are your tank pieces, which we saw in the box there. And then the back side here. And they look to be different on the back side. Let's see. SU-152. M43, yeah, so it looks like they're different units on the backside. So apparently, if you need something, you flip it over to get the backside unit. And yeah, because see, these are trucks, and these are all wagons, it looks like. They just want to pop right out of there. So these are your unit counters for the pieces of the tanks, the various armor units, which they are much larger than the units for the men here. So that's good. Size relationship is, I don't know if it's important, but it is represented. And then we have our unit cards, and these cards, let me see if I can get it in here for you to look at. These cards, so these cards allow you to figure out what you're gonna, what your armor piercing is, the gunnery range, the AP damage, defensive information, offensive information. And it looks like you have German on the front and Russian on the back, which I find that interesting, because what if you're playing this tank and the Russian player is playing this tank? Who gets the card? Seems like you have to be throwing that card back and forth. Now it is a heavy duty card, so maybe it's made to be thrown back and forth, I guess, you know, but these are pretty heavy cards. And I like the artwork. The artwork's kind of cool. So as we go through here, it looks like we have the tow guns. Here are trucks, wagons, trucks. Of course, they don't have a fighting capability, so they're only one. And some tow guns here. And what else? Oh, and then we got some infantry unit cards too. So I guess you would have these lined up, and you'd be using these to refer to your counters that are on the map. They're heavy duty. Kind of cool. It'll be interesting to see how that plays in this game. And finally, you have your map. It looks like it's a single-sided map. Oh. Okay. Well, it's a single-sided map, and it's kind of funny because it unfolds like, I don't know if the first edition was a mounted map or not, but it seems like this should be a mounted map, which is different than Panzer Blitz. Panzer Blitz had, you know, they had mounted maps, but they would fit together geomorphically. I'm not sure that this one can fit together with anything else. It's just a sort of a single map that you use for this game. Interesting. I thought they had geomorphic maps, but maybe that starts on the editions. If you know that, leave a comment. But the map does look very similar to a Panzer Blitz style or Panzer Leader style map. Easy to read terrain. It shouldn't be too hard to figure out. This is the highest point, this is the next highest and low. Can't shoot through that. Can't shoot through that. Probably this blocks line of sight too, I would think, including towns and things like that might have some issues. But yeah, that's interesting map. It's a thick cardboard, thick cardstock, I should say, and so it looks like it could be quite durable. Again, of course, you know, under plexiglass, that's pretty much the standard nowadays. So I don't think that'll be an issue. So there's your map. All right. So I'm kind of not sure what to expect out of this game right now. I'm gonna have to watch some more videos. I watched a couple of them. It didn't seem like it was too complicated, but you know, when you first look in here and you have these rules here, and this is your basic and advanced rules here, it is pretty daunting. So I'll have to see how fun this game is going to be at the end. Oops. Don't you hate it when you forget these at the very bottom and they have to go in? Otherwise they don't fit. So you got to pull everything out. There we are. All right, so that is my box opening and first look at Panzer. My sort of impressions. I definitely do not believe it's anywhere close to being. It looks like this game a lot, but it's not. This is a much more simple game compared to this one. Does that mean that this game won't be fun? No, it just means I'm gonna read a little bit more and try it out and maybe work in stages up to, you know, maybe the advanced rules and the advanced option rules. So if you enjoyed that, please do give the video a like, and please subscribe so you can be around for my future videos. And I do appreciate you watching so far. Thanks.